All right, why don't you tell us what you're planting?
Peppers.
Peppers.
And I snip these little baby legs off here, is what I call them. And then plant them down. I rough up the roots a little bit so they're not compacted. And then I gently, try to be gentle. Sometimes I'm not so gentle.
So if you don't undo the roots, what happens?
Well, they just grow a little better when their roots aren't so tight together. They get a little air. This one I'm gonna snip off. He's a little baby, so I don't know if he'll survive, but we're gonna give it a whirl. But I just loosen the roots up a little bit so they can
take a little bit better.
And like with my tomatoes, I snap off that little one root, or limbs, stems, whatever you want to call them.
Their first leaves?
Yeah. And to me, I think they get a thicker stem on them when they grow up. That's why I've planted them down to the first stems I've cut off of them, so they'll grow a little better. But it turned out pretty good.
And what method are you using?
First 10 were the bell peppered colors, and then these are just regular green peppers.
And you planted them down pretty much in the dirt right under the leaves, right?
I planted them down to where I cut those leaves off. So that way that'll give a chance for them to root out there and make the stems, their stems thicker when they get older, and they'll be able to handle more wind and bigger peppers.
Oh, nice.
And I'm using this method. Sorry, it's awful dirty. The seeding square. It's really nice. You can go over here and look at some of them we've already planted. I have this much left over of this one. So what I'm gonna do, because I don't really have enough room, hold on, to plant any more, I'm gonna plant some flowers or some herbs down here to help keep the bug.
We've got our tomatoes, 1 square apart.
There's 16 there.
16, and then we've got the trellis so they can...
These right here, how much thicker of a stems they already are, and that's when they were younger. When I transplanted them, I cut them down and planted them. So they've got really thick stems.
And right there, is that where you...
That's where I took it off when I just planted it. I didn't put it down any farther. We planted these about a week ago. I just left some back in case they didn't take over very good. But I'm going to snip these limbs off that aren't looking like they're doing too good. That one's probably all right. That one, maybe. The tomato watermelon, I've got watermelon there, and this is acorn squash. Over here I have eggplant, and here I have some cantaloupe. Cantaloupe and watermelon are together. Yeah. These are spaghetti squash. These right here are spaghetti squash, and as they start to grow, I'll lean them into here on the trellises and they'll grow up. These right here on this side, how many is there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 of them over here are cucumbers.
What happened to that plant?
And so the cucumbers will be growing on this side, the spaghetti squash on this side. And then I have beans over here, and over there I have zucchini.
And those will trellis up, and it'll give them some support.
And as they grow, I will, intermingle them up through there, and they will grow up the trellis. I have knee highs, so especially the watermelon over here. And the spaghetti squash, as they get in the cantaloupe, as they get bigger and heavier, I will take knee highs and put the plants, the fruits in it, and then tie them to this to help hold them so it doesn't break the plant's stems.
What are you guys going to plant out there?
We're going to do a lot of corn. I have have cabbage and Brussels sprouts, broccoli, cauliflower.
All right, so we are in the greenhouse and we wanted to give you a little tour. This is the first year we've had it, so it is still kind of experimental. It's going pretty good though. So we've got some of the leftover tomatoes. They are, you know, those we've planted most of them, but these are just leftovers just in case they don't make it out there, so that we've got a little bit of a backup. And we've got a couple other things growing as well. We've got some I believe that's squash over there, and we've got lettuce, and we've got some peppers, all that good stuff. We've also some lettuce, and this is the Rocky Top lettuce from Baker Creek. It's going pretty good. You can see it's kind of misleveled here just because it we had already cut it. And what you do, you let it grow about, I don't know, about yay high, and then you give it a good haircut, and then you basically just take the tops off. And if you grow it in a soil bag like this, then you don't have to worry about, oh, what's a weed and what's, you know, lettuce, that kind of thing. It's really easy to know what's what, so you can just give it all a haircut and you know what you're putting in your bowl is lettuce. And so it tastes really good, and so even my 6-year-old likes it. And then we have some cilantro and Brussels sprouts and stuff like that we had already planted. Oh man, that's bright in here. Anyway, super bright in here. And then we've got some Rocky Top lettuce growing in here as well. We wanted to go ahead and get a second batch going. The asparagus wasn't doing too great. I don't know that we'll do that again next year in here. I think we'll probably end up starting it outside. But we got some cauliflower, broccoli, and we mixed a little bit of, where? It's fine. Why don't you go out, please? We did some cauliflower and broccoli, and we mixed a little bit of sand out there previously before we were going to plant stuff in here. And there's some cabbage back there that it's actually doing pretty good. So not too bad there, but we've got a nice little setup here. We've got some wire so that way any water can drop down and go onto the other ones. Got a workbench, you know, so a little bit of storage down there. It's kind of a mess right now, but you know, it doesn't have to be perfect, just homestead perfect, as Kevin likes to say. And so that is our greenhouse. And yeah, so if you, where did you get this at?
What?
The greenhouse.
Orscheln's. That was my Christmas present.
Oh, well, pretty nice. But yeah, it's pretty great. Here, let me back up so you can see this thing. It's got the square open. That front rolls down. Yeah, that front rolls down, so that way you can vent it. We ended up doing some bungee cords so it wouldn't be all the way up, so it's not too breezy. So it's not too breezy. And it's got the sides and everything. But if we walk around on the other side, it's also got a window, so that way you can vent it on both sides. Getting that circulation is great because with the plants, if they have a little bit of wind when they're, you know, when they're little, before you put them out in the garden and everything, it'll make them a little bit stronger because it's got some kind of motion. If you leave them, like for example, if you start them when you're inside and then you go to move them outside, and if you start them inside and they don't have any kind of wind or motion or anything like that, even if you have to put a little fan on them, that'll make a huge difference if you don't have a greenhouse. So that's a nice little tip. But yeah, if you open that little window when it's obviously warm enough and it's not going to kill the plants, it's going to make them a little bit stronger. Here, I don't know if you can see them. Hopefully you can. I really need to get a better camera. You can see that there are potatoes here, and we used the square foot garden method as well. So we got one potato. We used seeding potatoes. We put one potato per foot. These ones where you see the green have already started. We started them in gallon buckets. Let me move over here so you can see it a little bit better. Okay, there we go. So the ones with the green, you can see that we started those in gallon buckets, and we transplanted them. It was actually these Lowe's buckets, but I don't think they're food grade safe, so we decided to go ahead and move them into the dirt. The ones that we planted just straight potatoes in the ground are on the other side. That's this nice little green line and over. So the ones that were in the buckets and we replanted were the ones that the ones that are green currently. So the ones that were in just regular potatoes, they haven't came up yet, but you know, hey, it takes a while, plants, you know. And then down here we've got regular carrots. We got some black Nebulae carrots. I got those also for Baker Creek. I'm excited to try those because they're purple carrots. I mean, that's pretty cool. I don't know what they taste like, but you know, hey, there's first time for everything. We've also got some cherry belled radishes that are growing nicely. We've also used a square foot garden in those. Pretty much most of them come up except for like right here. Those haven't come as much, but you know, it will. I'm sure they'll come up. And then we've got some red onions and sweet onions. So we've got quite a lot in that one, especially with using the square foot method, because like with radishes and carrots, I think you can get like 9. I probably need to double check that, but I'm pretty sure you can get like 9 plants per square foot, which if you live in town, it was perfect for me. That's why I originally got it, because you can grow quite a bit of food with that little space.